Hello everyone, so in this tutorial we're going to setting up Widevine for Google Chrome and Firefox, Playready for Internet Explorer and Fairplay for Safari. All these DRM providers we're going to be using. We're going to be using a third-party service called EZDRM as our license server, and we're going to be using AWS Cloudformation template to create the stack for the SPEKE key encryption and everything that's needed. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. First off, if you haven't got an EZDRM account, go ahead and create one, and then once you've created that, then you can go back to S3Bubble, go to the documentation. Okay, now if you go to Cloudformation templates and click on the EZDRM Cloudformation template, then if you download this template, this is what we're going to be using to run our stack. Okay, so if you go to the AWS management and click on Cloudformation or search for it in the box, what we'll do is we'll create a stack. Okay, we're going to upload the template that we just downloaded, so I'm just going to grab that now. Okay, so we've got the template that we've uploaded, and now we can go to next, and we'll just call this S3Bubble EZDRM stack. Okay, so you can call it whatever you want, but this is just to remember the name. And here you can type in your company, so my company name, so just type in your company name here. Company. Okay, and just to show you what's happening here, so this is a delivery bucket. This is what we'll be delivering all our content from through Cloudfront. Okay, so we'll upload a video to our private bucket. Okay, it's just a private S3 bucket. Then we'll encode the content from that bucket and output it to delivery, also setting up with the license server from EZDRM to provide all the keys for the Widevine, Playready and Fairplay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll enter my EZDRM email here and password and then click next. Okay, so I've clicked next and then click next again, and now it just asks us to acknowledge. Okay, so we can just go ahead and create this stack now. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just pause the video. This is going to go and create lots of stuff. Okay, it's creating a API gateway, it's creating an S3Bubble role. Just to note, you might get an issue if you're an existing S3Bubble user saying that this role already exists. Okay, this just might be from a previous setup. So if you get this issue, just go to roles in IAM and search for S3Bubble. And if you have an S3Bubble media convert role, just delete it and then recreate the template and you won't get any issues. Okay, but this is going off. It's creating our Cloudfront website, our delivery website plus delivery bucket, plus it's also creating a Cloudfront distribution and attaching it to that bucket for delivery. So there's lots going on here, and Cloudfront just setting up a distribution can take 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so just be aware that this template will take a while to complete. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just pause the video while that's happening. Okay, while the template's still completing, what we can do is you'll notice that if you go to S3Bubble and then go to AWS Storage and S3, you'll see that our buckets are created already. So what we can do is, like, while that's still going, we can actually upload a video that we want to convert to our bucket. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll use the desktop app to do this rather than the S3Bubble uploader. But what we can do is if we go to tools, if you download the desktop app, we've got tons of tools for trimming audio, inserting audio, grabbing metadata, creating SoundCloud files, GIFs, crop videos. There's a lot of stuff in here, normalize, all sorts of conversions. So go ahead and get the desktop app. It's free with any S3Bubble account. So what we'll do, AWS uploader, I'm going to select a file and we'll just encode the S3Bubble intro video. Okay, and then for buckets, what we want to do is we're going to select our private my company bucket. Okay, and then we'll click upload. So what that's doing is that's going to then upload the video to our private uploader bucket. Okay, and then we can run the encoding on that video. Okay, great, so that's now uploaded. Let's go back to S3Bubble and then go into our bucket. Okay, so we are in our bucket now. Here's our file that we just uploaded, and then under actions, this is where we're going to create our media encode convert job. Okay, and this is all being set up for us with Cloudformation. Oh great, so the stack's now complete. So what I'll do is I'll go to outputs. Okay, and under outputs you'll see a root URL to the API gateway. Okay, so this is what we're going to be using within the DRM section here. So let's go next. and save and continue. So for our DRM URL, this is what we need from Cloudformation, so let's go ahead and take that URL. Okay, go back, paste. You have to click, paste, and then press enter. Okay, and it will go in. So click, paste, and press enter. For a resource ID, what we'll do is we'll save a resource ID. We'll just create a random one and submit. Okay, now we'll be able to select this ID. So let's just go ahead and select that ID. Okay, so for system IDs, we're going to be using Widevine, and we're going to be using Playready. Okay, so this is what we're going to be using to set up to start off with. We'll do Fairplay as a separate encoding job. Okay, so we'll save and continue, save and continue, save and continue. Output bucket. Sorry, this is where we have our delivery, my company. So if you remember, we're uploading to a storage bucket, but all our content then goes to our delivery bucket that is attached to a folder. And we can use a random ID, or we can just enter a name in here. Just use a random ID. And then here's the Cloudfront distribution. That's all. So all of this has all been set up with the Cloudformation template. You don't need to worry about any of this. Oh, and also I might as well note in this tutorial, quite a few people ask about geo restrictions. You can go ahead and go to Network and Delivery in Cloudfront, and then find this distribution, and then you can add any geo restrictions for countries of your choice. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. So for the template, for Widevine and Playready, we want to be using Dash. So let's go ahead and select the Dash recommended for Dash template, save and continue, and then submit. Okay, so it's created our job, and what we do now is we literally just go ahead and wait for that to complete. But while that's happening, let's go back and let's just create another encoding job, but for Fairplay. Okay, so again, paste in the URL and click enter. Okay, resource ID, we'll use this resource ID. It's good to actually, so what I'll do is this is our resource ID, and I'm going to write this down so I can remember it at a later stage. Okay, so I wrote the resource ID down because you are going to need this within your EZDRM account. Just it's the nature of how Fairplay gets set up. So we're going to be using Apple Fairplay, save and continue, save and continue, save and continue, and then the same, select a bucket, delivery bucket. We can use a random ID, okay, and then Cloudfront distribution, same as before. But for the job, okay, so obviously Fairplay is HLS, it's Apple, so we're going to be using HLS, recommended template for HLS. Save and complete, and then submit. Okay, would you like to go there now? Yes. Okay, great. So this is now completing for Fairplay, but our job is already completed for Widevine and Playready. So what I'm going to suggest now is we've actually got a demo set up with our demo theme. So if you go to hosting and then instances and demos, we've got a demo set up, and this is just our basic demo here, and this is what we're going to be using. But for DRM to work, your site must be being served over HTTPS. It will not work unless it's served over a secure URL. So if you just set up a demo and it's at an IP, that will be why it's not working. You need to set up your domain and set up SSL, or request us to set up SSL for you, and we'll do it. Okay, so this is being served over SSL. So we'll go into the dashboard. If we go over to channel, and we'll just use the existing DRM example for the sake of just keeping this tutorial easy. Okay, because obviously this is a bit of a minefield, DRM. It's quite complicated to set up. It's very confusing. There's lots going on. But in our DRM example, you'll see that we've got DRM, we've got our media URLs here, and then we've got our links to our certificate URLs, etc. going on down here. Okay, so what I suggest you do now is we can go back to S3Bubble, and we'll go into our view our player. Okay, obviously the player is not going to play through here. We just need to grab our direct URL here, and then go back to here, and we just paste in our new URL. Now the license URI should not change. You can get this within the EZDRM dashboard that I'll show you in a minute, and you just need to put your unique ID at the end. So don't use this one, this is for us. You need to put in your own unique ID, okay, for it to work. EZDRM are pretty good. You can set up a demo account with them. If you just contact them via email, they'll set you a kind of proof of concept account for you to be able to test. So go ahead and test everything first. So we've got Microsoft Play ready. So we've done our dash URLs. Let's just go ahead and grab our Fairplay URL and view player. So this is our HLS URL. Okay, copy, edit, I'll paste it in here. Okay, now one thing to note that is quite confusing is you have to put in your asset ID that's created through EZDRM dashboard. So I'll just log in to EZDRM and go to the dashboard now. Okay, so I've logged into my EZDRM account, and we need to take the resource ID that we wrote down when we started our encoding job. Okay, it's important. You need to take that ID down, and then you could just run a search for that. And then, so what you need to do is then paste in this asset ID. Okay, that is represents your resource ID. Okay, so you know it's a bit of a headache, but the things you do for secure content. Okay, so you've got to paste your asset ID in there. Okay, and then what we can do is click update. Okay, and we can go ahead and view content. Okay, and you'll see our video is now playing. Okay, this is secure DRM that's approved by Hollywood Studios. If you've got premium content, this is what you've got here. Okay, this will now work in Safari, Firefox, and Internet Explorer. It will switch between the DRM technologies for each browser. So for IE, it will use Playready. For Safari, it will use Fairplay, and then Firefox and Chrome, it will use Widevine. So yeah, that's sort of all you need to get set up. I say all you need. It's quite a big workflow to get to this stage, but hopefully we've made it a lot simpler by providing the Cloudformation template that runs all the setups for you. Okay, so once you're done, you're good to go. You can just start uploading your premium content like this, encoding it, and you've got the highest level of security you can currently get with DRM technology. Okay, so I hope this video helps. Any questions, set up a support ticket. Thanks.